Welcome to Embracing Life Again. I'm Catherine Kaufer, transition expert and minister. Together, we'll break through life's toughest barriers, rediscover joy, and start dreaming again. It's time to embrace life fully with purpose, passion, and hope. Welcome to Embracing Life Again. I'm your host, Catherine Kaufer, and we bring inspiration through life's transitions. And the purpose of our show of Embracing Life Again is to inspire women to find more balance, to feel a sense of freedom, to choose joy, and to dream again as we collectively stand in our power, getting you unstuck in your trauma and loss to experience joy and dream again. I have a special guest again today. It is Cristina. And so today, she was on last week, and today she is going to show you more exercises to do. But first, I'm going to introduce you again.
Okay.
So next to me is Cristina. She has Sheehan Health and Wellness and is a renowned health and wellness educator specializing in transforming the way we perceive aging. She's featured on Aging, an awesome TV series. Dr. Maria Cristina is a sought-after speaker for those looking to energize their health and turn back the clock. And this girl has really turned back the clock in her own life, let me tell you. She did a bombshell last time saying, you're how old?
79.
Oh, I was like, no way. I did not have her pegged at 79. I'm not, you like maybe in her 60s is what I was thinking, right?
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So one of the questions that I thought would be good for today to lead her off with what she's going to show us is what role does strength training play in women's health, and why should more women consider adding it to their routines? And so she's going to show you some simple things to do that you can do at home while you're watching TV, whatever you want to be doing. And you said 3 times a week?
3 times a week.
Okay, for 20 minutes.
Well, a little bit longer.
Well, you said 5 minutes for this.
Oh, so if you're really strength training 3 times a week, about 50 to 60 minutes.
Oh.
But if you're just starting out, that was that 20-minute little segment I was talking about.
Okay. Oh. Well, now I'm wondering, okay, how much do I have to do now?
Well, it's not that bad.
Okay. Okay, so...
That's a good question, though. Where, what's the value and the role and the reason for strength training for women? It's such a good question. And you talked about turning back time, and that is actually what I did through the power of strength training. So if you look at my photos when I was 69 and 67, okay.
So that's when you started.
I started at 69.
Okay.
But if you and I reluctantly went into this gym to work with a bodybuilder, which I never thought I would do, but
right.
I'd almost given up. Okay, so I was 69, I was overweight, I was feeling tired, I was slowing down. I was at the end of a wonderful career in higher education. Mm-hmm. I had the top job at 3 institutions, led, thousands of students across the stage to their degrees, and I mean it was a beautiful career, but it was very sedentary. And by the time I got to 69, it was like looking at an old person.
Oh wow!
And I see pictures of myself, and sometimes I post the fat pictures, and so people can see I didn't always look like this. And so the body that I wanted when I was in my 40s and 50s. Mm-hmm. I could get the slim down with the we're talking about jazzercise and aerobics and all the things that women do. Mm-hmm. I could kind of get the slim down body, but I could never get muscle definition. I never saw a muscle.
Interesting.
Never saw a muscle. Well, I wasn't doing anything to gain muscle. So why is it so important? It's not just a matter of getting into your genes. I mean, it's more than that, but that's fun too. But it's a matter of the building of the skeletal muscle is going to protect us. They even have a link to our immune system and boosting our immune system if we have more skeletal muscle. So
why is that?
There's a relationship.
Interesting. Yeah, I wouldn't have thought that.
No, now the more research that's done, they're finding a connection to cognitive acuity, to immune system, to longevity, and to the quality of the life you have in the years ahead. And so, as I told you, I'm training for my 80s now.
That's awesome.
Okay, so how do you do that, and where do you start? That's a question that we get a lot. So these are little 3-pound weights, and you can start with 2-pound weights if you've never done anything. And I'm just going to show a couple of very simple exercises that anybody can do. And we were talking about, well, when you're going to do these. Well, it could be while you're watching TV, your favorite show, at any time. Okay. All right. So let me demonstrate a couple of these exercises. So here you are with your 2-pound weights. And everybody knows curl, right? And that's just moving up and down, moving up and down. That's all that movement is. Okay, and we talked about on the last program, we talked about, well, what kind of weight should you have? Okay, so if you've never done anything, start with your 2-pound weights. And a rule of thumb is if it's causing pain, stop immediately, okay? But if it's a push, keep going because you need to push your body. And that's another thing we don't understand. Okay, you can't just stay at the same place. You have to keep pushing. So you could do your curls. Okay, a shoulder press is here you're at the shoulder and you're just moving up and down and up and down and up and down, okay? So those are 2 very easy exercises. If you want to do this for the flab that we get, okay, so you can just take 1 weight and you're going to put it over your head, and then you're going to move up and down, and up and down. Okay, so that's the overhead triceps. So those are just 3 easy exercises. So what I do is give a whole menu. So you start with looking at 8, 10, 15 of these little easy exercises, and then pick out 3 or 4 that you love that you're going to do. Okay?
But how many reps? Or how many, right?
So I start people off with 4 sets with just 7 repetitions.
7.
And then moving up to 10 repetitions, and then to 12 repetitions, and then ultimately to 15 repetitions. So
15 repetitions.
Right.
Okay.
4 sets, 12 to 15 repetitions. That's the average.
That's our goal.
That's the goal.
Okay.
And when you're getting to the end of that 3rd or 4th set and it's kind of a push, that's when you know you're at the right weight. And if it's you're in your 4th set and you're doing this, well, then you know you need to move up in weight.
Got it.
Okay. And then the other thing for improving health is maintaining an alignment of our bodies, okay? So as we get older, we tend to move forward and you see walking like this. Okay, so at the beginning of the day, stand against your wall, get your alignment so that your hips are against the surface and your head is touching as well, and then walk out. And that is your alignment for the day. Okay, and that's the alignment that you want to stay in for positive aging. It affects every part of our body. When we're leaning over, we're damaging our organs as well. So we talked about someone who did not know how to do a squat. So a squat, we talked about a squat. So a squat is actually just sitting in a movement. So you're keeping your upper body up, erect, and then you're just moving down. Whoops, I'm touching the back.
It's okay.
Okay, so you're just moving down. Okay, so you're kind of just sitting. That's a squat. You can have shoulder width apart for your legs, or you can have your feet together.
Which one's harder?
I think they're both hard. No. I think the hardest one is the feet together. Okay, you have.
Yeah, I would think so too.
Yeah. Okay. So pick one of those. Now that's too hard, and you say, "Oh, I have bad knees." And we talked about what you could do in a chair.
Right.
You sit, get up, sit, get up, and you're still getting a benefit of that movement. But the important thing is to put the stress on the muscles to build skeletal muscle for longevity.
Okay.
And overall health.
Okay. So for that, I'm going to put you down a little bit more now. For that, do we want to, how do I know that I've gotten to where I need to be? Do I need someone like you to assess that? I mean, because I don't know.
Absolutely.
Right? So do I need to hire a trainer, or do I need to, who do I need to look for to know that I'm at my optimum or getting there?
Okay.
So it helps encourage me to keep going, because we're used to seeing ourselves, right? So it's harder to know,
Assess your own, yes.
Oh, am I getting better? You know, I don't know, right? So
Okay, so, all right. If you've not done anything and you have some sort of injury or a past injury, my recommendation is go to your physical therapist and find out and get an assessment from a physician that will tell you what your range of motion capability is. So you know that, number one.
Oh.
Number two, the best way to stay on target is to hire a trainer. So there's a saying that you're either gonna pay for your health or you're gonna pay for your illness. Okay, you either invest in your health and you say, oh my gosh, it's cost so much, it's so pricey, and that's what I thought when I first hired a trainer. And then I thought,
yeah,
what's the alternative? Okay, if I didn't do that, if I didn't take out my checkbook and write that big check for that trainer, where would I be today? Okay, so here is 10 years later, and I'm in a place I never thought I could be.
Oh, no.
Never thought I could be.
No.
So I would be now investing in multiple medications. I would be overweight. I wouldn't be looking forward to my 80s, right?
Right.
I wouldn't look, not at all. So now there's nothing that's stopping me from doing what I want to do. So I do yoga. I just started gymnastics, and I train 3 times a week, and then I train others so that they can have a healthy, vibrant life as well. So we talked about stability and maintaining that core strength and the back strength, and so squats.
That's so important.
Squats are so great for that.
So squats are great for your lower back,
They are.
because I've noticed as I've gotten older, if I bend over to pick something up, and if I don't do it right, I get that twinge in the back, right? And I'm sure a lot of you do too. And it's like, okay, what am I doing wrong, right? So it's making sure that your core and your back is very strong.
Absolutely. Then there's all kinds of whole floor work. We talked about that earlier, that you can do with your body weight. So you can do planks on your wrists, not on your palms, or on your elbows as well.
I do it on my elbows because I have tendonitis on my, right? So I do it that way.
Perfect.
Right.
Just as good. Just as good. So we can use body weight to build strength, or we can take up these little guys and build strength this way.
And add to
but
it.
the important thing is to build the strength so that we can have healthy years ahead, and then to find something that we like, because there's thousands of exercises out there. How do we stay on? Let me go back to how do we do it though? How do we stay? So for me, the trainer was, you write the check, you're going to be there, right? You're going to show up at that session. Okay, so that's the best way. But then there's classes that you can get into, and then there's silver sneakers for older people that you can.
Does that really work? I've seen it. And it looks so elementary. I'm sorry. I don't mean to.
Well, it depends
I
on
think
where
I'm
you are.
above
Well, see,
silver sneakers, but I don't know this, right? But they're usually typically older than me
yes, sir.
that I've seen on there. So I'm like, oh, I want something like that, but more for my age than their age.
Right.
Okay.
So it depends on where you're at. You're more advanced students, so that would be too elementary for you. But if you've never gotten out of your chair,
That's true.
it's a place to start.
Okay. Yeah, because I know most gyms have that.
They have that.
And they even some of them even take Medicare, so you can have a free membership.
Absolutely.
And to take those classes because they are realizing it is very important to move as we get older.
We can't, sedentary lifestyle is a death sentence for sure.
Ugh. Yeah, I know that firsthand from my mom. So, okay. So you want to go to overcoming barriers and challenges?
Absolutely.
Okay. So many women have emotional barriers to health, like fear, failure, past struggles with weight loss. How can they overcome these?
Well, our mind is very powerful, and the body is going to go where the mind takes it. And our minds like to keep us in a comfortable place, okay? It's familiar, and we get scared once we go outside of
our familiar.
What is familiar, okay?
Right.
And so that's helpful in some ways and detrimental in other. Now we can say to ourselves, are we going to let our mind take our health? Because we're not going to make that decision to overcome what is our comfort level. So we have to move out of our comfort level and overcome what our mind is telling us in order to make that next step. And it's how important is my life? Okay, how important is my health? How important are the things I want to do in my daily life so that I'm not dependent? And that's our biggest fear as we get older, is that we have to ask someone for help getting out of a chair. That should never be.
I know, it's so
Or that
sad.
we're going to fall and break something. And that should never be, but it is a real fear if we don't interfere or intervene in that comfort level that our brain or mind wants to tell us.
Right.
Just stay right here, don't move.
Right, but did you start telling yourself something, or how did you break out of your thought pattern of, I know you came to realization that either I'm going to get healthy or I'm going to die.
Right.
Right? Because you wanted to enjoy your 80s instead of die in your 80s, right? So what did you tell yourself something? Did you have a routine? I mean, how did you get yourself out of that mindset of what we're familiar with?
So I think we have two paths, okay? So we have the sedentary path, and we know where it's going to lead.
Yeah.
And then if there's another path, why not take that path? Why not give ourselves a chance to see what our bodies can do? And the reality is, our bodies are capable of far more than we believe they are.
Interesting.
Far more. Okay, so we don't think that we can build muscle or strength over time.
Well, we've been told we can't.
And that's not true.
I'm just saying. I've heard from so many different doctors that
Okay, then
we don't build muscle anymore, and so that's why it's important to keep moving. But I didn't know, and you say, oh no, that's a fable, right? That's not true.
The docs don't know.
Okay.
Okay, so look at how our system of medicine is set up.
Yeah.
It's a sick care. It's not a well care.
No, it is not.
And so the way that the doctors are trained are really, it's funded through the pharmaceutical company. So they will tell you what medications you need and how to help you when you're ill. But they don't have the training on What's the wellness component of what's the intervention? What should you be doing not to need all the pharmaceuticals? So they don't have that training. So that's where we have to really be our own best advocates. And how do I want to age? Not how is someone over there aging, but what about me? What do I want out of my life? And that's the question we have to start with.
Right.
Not with friends that are on the couch and they're not doing anything. But wait a minute, what do I want? And so not going into a comparison level at all, but going into let me use my body as my laboratory. And I'm finding it fascinating because what I thought I would never be able to do because I have no athletic ability whatsoever.
I don't know too many 79-year-old gymnasts.
Well, of course, I'm not doing double backflips or anything.
You're not.
But I am on that balance
You're on
beam.
the balance beam.
And I am on the rope.
Wow.
And I am on the rings. Now, am I at the very beginning stage?
Sure.
But yeah. But I never knew what rings were. Now I can hold on. I had never been on a balance beam. Now I can stand there and walk across. Okay. So what might I be able to do a year from now?
You're gonna be doing the horse.
Okay.
The pommel horse.
That's the hardest thing ever.
I used to love that thing.
Yes, but the real issue is not putting a ceiling on what our bodies can do. Pushing them forward to see what they're capable of.
So it is a mindset in a way that we've been taught as we get older, we can't do things.
Right.
And so if we believe that you're right. And if you believe you can, you're right. So what are you going to choose? That's the whole thing.
That's it.
What am I going to choose for my life? What do I want for my life? Where am I going to begin? What's my routine going to look like? Right?
That's it exactly.
Okay. So what advice do you have for someone starting from scratch? Maybe they haven't worked out in years and don't know where to begin. Well, you started that a little bit.
Yeah. So
You did that in the last show. Okay.
Right.
But this show, you can do this thing again.
you absolutely. So the advice is don't make it a mountain too high to climb. Make it easy. Make it simple steps. So you get your 2 or 3 pound weights and you start there. Or if you have bad knees or you can't do the squats yet, you do the lifting out of your chair, standing and sitting. And then when that's easy, you do 15 repetitions of standing and sitting 4 different times or 4 different sets. Okay, so you keep challenging yourself. We can never be complacent. We have to keep challenging our bodies.
That's true. Yep. So I have a business coach, and she's like, Tony Robbins is one of my coaches, right? So he's like Kanai, and it's constant, never-ending improvement. So try and improve 1% every day.
Right.
Right. So in something, it doesn't have to be in everything. It's just you choose something that you want to be better at every day, and it just helps you grow as a person.
And it's joyful.
It's no fun existing.
But when you get better and you've invested in yourself, I think that's joyful.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you're right. So, aging naturally comes with changes in metabolism and hormones. How can women adjust their health routines to work with their bodies instead of against them?
I think that too often we utilize our stages in life as excuses not to do something.
I've been guilty. Yeah.
So we can't do that, all right? And I look at these women who are absolutely menopausal women, and they are on the stage, and in fabulous shape. Okay, so so what do they do? Okay, so I'm post menopausal.
Me too. You're post. I'm just post.
but there they are in those competitions. So we were talking earlier about the fitness competitions. So the most competitive ages are those menopausal ages, and they are absolutely on it. But what are they doing? They're watching what they're eating. They're being very careful about the alcohol, almost eliminating it completely. They're getting their sleep. They're getting their protein in. They're staying consistent with their workouts, and they're powering through the menopausal problems.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, and sugar.
Sugar is deadly.
Unfortunately, we all love it.
We do, but natural sugar. Okay, so I have this form, and it's called the Sneaky Sugar Inventory. If anyone wants it, they can ask for it off my website.
Okay.
But people tell me, "Oh, I don't consume that much sugar." Well, they go through the sheet, and they start circling. And I ask them to circle what they're eating, and it's a big eye opener how much sugar is in almost everything that we eat.
Well, anything processed has a ton of sugar.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So just getting rid of the processed stuff will help a ton. You will feel so much better.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is absolutely the case.
I still need my Tootsie Rolls, though. I love Tootsie Rolls.
Okay, so we talked 80-20 before. And
Yes.
so treats here and there, that's one thing. It's when you make that part of your daily diet that's a problem. You don't do that, do you?
I might.
Uh-oh.
Well, I just finished them all, and I'm not planning on buying any more.
There you go.
So there I go.
Problem solved.
But I'd have like 2 or 3 little ones, the little ones, the
Oh,
little Tootsie Rolls, right? So, yeah. So no, that's been I don't know. I think that's a boredom thing that I go to that at night. When you're kind of bored, you're kind of like, I want a Tootsie Roll.
Well, that was my downfall. And my last year of my presidency, I would have this dip at about 4 o'clock, and we had this cabinet filled with candy and treats. And I'd go in there because I know I have another 2 hours.
Right,
Okay, so
right.
what was going to happen to me at 70 if I kept going that way?
True. So do you have any, do you have one small but powerful daily habit that women can start today to move forward towards their better health? There's so many. I mean, there's like...
So I think that there's a lot to be said about gratitude and waking in joy that we have another day of life. Okay. And with that other day of life comes our responsibility to our bodies to do something. And that can be just warm-up exercises, just rotating the shoulders, rotating their arms, doing a head roll, doing some dips, moving our body in some way and saying, thank you, God, for this day I have.
Yeah, that's a good one. So, if a woman watching right now feels discouraged about her health, what's one message you want her to take away from this conversation?
It's never too late to start another path. Never too late.
Never too late. That's awesome. Yeah, and even if they're really depressed or down, just do one little thing a day to make it that much better.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
Okay. Awesome. So what's another one? What's the biggest lesson life has taught you about reinventing and resilience?
Well, I had a really exciting career that required showing up for myself every single day. Okay, And what happens when you leave a career where you're at the top of your game? A couple of things happen to you. One, you go into kind of a depression of who am I?
Correct.
Two, you go into a supercharged set of activities. You have no time. Those are the kind of, opposite ends of the pole. Basically, you have to find your passion, and it can be anything that gives you joy, that makes you excited about the day. And for me,
true.
It was, how could I take back my health? And then how could I give something back to people who wanted the same thing?
That's awesome. She's becoming my trainer, by the way. I have decided that already.
And we get to see many.
Yes. Well, we are. So we're going to go and see Zebedee. She had told me, she goes, I've always wanted to meet a miniature horse, so that'll be part of this episode again. So we're going to do some therapy on you and see Zebedee in action. And then she gets her peace and her calm and her stress relief. And so how can they get a hold of you? If they have any questions, I know you have a bunch of free stuff on your website. So what's the best way for my audience to get a hold of you?
Well, an email back to me or book a call, because I love to give advice about where you are. Everybody's at a different place, and so it's hard to give some global, although we are doing that right here. But it's hard to give one size fits all. Okay.
Yeah, so true.
So booking a call, I'm happy to get you on your way. And going to the website, it's drmariacristina.com.
So spell that.
Dr. Dr. Maria, Maria, Cristina, CRINIA.com. drmariacristina.com.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being on the show. I've really enjoyed having you, and look forward to seeing you guys next week. But stay tuned for Adventures with Zebby and Theo. Bye for now.
Coming up next, Adventures with Theo and Zebby, right here on Embracing Life Again with Catherine Kaufer.
So no, you don't. You are such a silly.
So I'm surprising Zebby. It just rained and he's eating. So there he is. Hey Zeb, are you gonna come here? Anyway, he has his blanket on because it's under 50 degrees and I have to keep his coat a certain way. And so usually he neighs at me, but he's like, I'm eating, Mom. Hi, sweetheart. So today is training day. We're going to be training. So every week I bring his trainer out and we work on different things for him. Today we're probably going to be doing carting, right? So I'm trying to teach him to cart. So he'll be in a harness and he's learning to move in rain. We don't have the cart on him yet, but so I will show you the training involved in that. See you soon. Okay, so it looks like Zebby is getting hooked up and we're gonna practice long reining him today. See different pressures, see what he likes better than others for the training. So we're gonna lunge Zebby to get him warmed up. before we put the surcingle on him. And I'm trying to be still so you guys can really see what's happening. And that's my trainer, Amanda. So we train every Thursday if we can, if I'm not traveling. So he's so well trained, let me tell you. But I've spent hours and hours and hours on this little dude. So I just wanted you to show you what lunging looks like. And all it is getting him warmed up in a circle, and then she'll turn him around to go the other way. And then I'll put the reins on him and we'll show you what long reining looks like, getting him ready to pull a cart. Amanda, what are you doing with him right now?
So this is long reining, and I'm able to teach him how to be sensitive to reins. Obviously we can't ride him, so this is the next best thing. Trying to keep him nice and straight without any arguments. I'm in a position where he can see me, so he's more relaxed instead of being behind him like I would in a cart.
So she just got him to change direction, and he did it perfectly. So you're still on his side, right?
Yep.
Okay.
He can see me clearly on that side.
And then eventually you'll be right behind him and then he'll steer that way?
Yep.
Okay.
Good boy.
So she's moving him again, making him go straight. So like I said before, this is getting him ready to cart. He has never pulled a cart yet. But we want him just really comfortable and knowing what we want him to do before he starts pulling anything, because we don't want him hurting himself or anybody else. He's just such a calm kid. I love this kid. He's just such a good boy. You've taken the first step to embracing life again. Let's continue to break barriers, find joy, and dream without limits. Join us next time, and let's discover inspiration through every transition together.